Hello and welcome to FS Golf in Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania. My name is Frank Stranick. The topic today I'd like to talk to you about is your driver. More specifically, I'd like to talk to you about some priorities that you might want to think about the next time you are in the mood for purchasing a new driver. As you know, we are inundated consistently with marketing hype about if you don't have this driver or this shaft or this grip or a combination thereof, that you obviously are not going to be able to play your best golf. Well, I'll give you some information here, and you can take that with you, and then the next time you go to look at another driver, then it might be beneficial to you. Okay, where do you start? Well, this is where I think everyone should start, and that's with a proper fitting. Go to someone who has the background, experience, and equipment to fully evaluate your capabilities and your requirements. If you do, I think in the long run, you're going to be much better off. All right. Now, to get on to the priorities here, I'm going to sort of borrow from two folks in the golf industry who are very well known and very learned in these areas. One is Tom Washon and the other is Dave Tuttleman. Dave says, what driver works best for you? Well, the driver that has the highest ball speed. Pretty straightforward. But he also adds a little caveat to it, and that is the driver that you can have on-center impact, that you can bring the face back to square at impact, that you have the proper swing path, and the driver that provides you the most desirable feel at impact, and that usually comes through the shaft. Okay, Tom Washon, he's a little bit more expansive in his thought process, and he breaks it down into specifications and performance. Let's look to the left side of the screen here, and we'll talk a little bit about specifications, and we'll get over to performance. Length. To me, length is one of the more critical elements in a golf club. The reason being is that if you have the wrong length in your club, it affects so many other aspects of your play. Your setup position, your swing plane, your swing path, the lie angle of the club, the centrifugal force that's generated by the swing, your ability to bring the head back to square, and all those sort of things. So start out by getting the length correct, and then a lot of other things will fall into place. The MOI, that's moment of inertia, that's the weight and balance of a club. When you swing the club, you want a club that feels good to you, a club that you're able to track the head in rotation. If you can track the head in rotation, then you have a better chance of bringing that head back to the ball in the configuration that will give you the best results. Loft of the club. Many times we are a little shy about selecting lofts that are appropriate for us. As we get a little older, we need a little more loft. Even some of the younger folks might even need a little bit more loft. Get the loft that gives you the best ascent and descent angles and accomplishes the best distance for your capabilities. Going back to Dave Tuttleman and the one that generates the highest ball speed. The next thing is face angle. If you're unable to get the face back to square, well, obviously then the direction of the ball is going to be affected. So you want to have the right properties that we just listed above that will allow you to best get the face back to square. Just next time you get down to the range, draw a little circle about the size of a quarter around a sweet spot, and maybe spray a little powder or something on the face and see how many times you put it inside that little circle. You ought to be able to put it in there about 90% of the time if you have a properly fitted club and your swing is relatively good. So let's go over to the performance side. Distance. Everybody wants distance. Why? Well, that's because that's what we hear on the tour every weekend. Well, I like to combine distance with two other elements, accuracy and consistency. If you don't have accuracy and consistency, then it doesn't matter how far you hit it. It's difficult to play out of the weeds or the swamp or the trees or whatever. So think about those three elements together. How do you get the best distance? Go back to what Dave Tuttleman said, highest ball speed. Trajectory, why is that important? Well, more important in the trajectory aspect is what is the descent angle. You want to have a descent angle that's somewhere between 30 and 35 degrees. That will give you the best opportunity for maximum carry and roll. And this is where loft comes in, and head speed and ball speed come in. So make sure that you, during your fitting, have a full understanding of what are your descent angles, and those will then carry over into what combination of loft and shaft and whatever are best for you, and your fitter will be able to tell you that. The last is impact feel. Where does the impact feel come from? Well, it comes from the shaft. More specifically, it comes from the tip end section of the shaft. I have here some information for you that you probably have not seen in the past. I've listed 20 different R-Flex shafts. So when you go into a store and someone says, oh, you're an R-Flex, well, I want to show you here that there are R-Flexes and there are R-Flexes. On the left-hand side of the screen is the butt end of the shaft, and it's clamped and measured every 5 inches down to 11 inches from the tip end. The lines are frequency. The lower frequency on the left side, the higher frequency on the right side. So let's take two examples. Take the uppermost shaft, this one right here, and let's say that you're a swing speed of 80 miles an hour. If you select that shaft, that is the stiffest of the shafts in the tip end. It's going to feel like a brick when you hit it. Conversely, if you take the lowest curving shaft down here and you're 110 mile an hour swing speed, it's probably going to feel a little bit like a noodle. Here's where the fitting comes in. Your fitter will be able to walk you through a number of shafts and find the shaft that best fits your swing characteristics. So don't forget about those. We haven't said what shafts these are. Just find the shaft that best fits you. So we're looking again here at what is the best performance and what is the best feel. I happen to have a flight scope. And FlightScope has a little tutorial on their website, and I think you might want to take advantage of this. You just, there's an inset box up here, and you go to flightscope.com and you select products and drop down to FlightScope tutorial. From your fitting, you can go ahead and take the numbers that your fitter gives you. For example, this one says launch speed, that is ball speed. And then you put in the launch angle and the deviation left or right, the altitude, that's the elevation where your home is at or your shop is at, the spin rate, and then you just hit display the shot, and it will show you the shot line, just like that yellow line is on there. And you can play around with different ball speeds, different launch angles, different spin rates to find out the combination that best fits you, and then see how that compares to your information from your fitting. Your fitter, if he has a flight scope, he'll be able to give you this information, and you'll be able to see what your optimum numbers are, and then you can strive to achieve your optimum numbers, and hopefully from the fitting you'll know what combination of head and shaft and grip and length will best give you the chance to get to these numbers. Okay. Remember now that we are all inundated with this marketing. Please try to stay a little bit away from the marketing and get more into the factual data that will help you in your decision process. Go back and take a look at the things that Dave Tuttleman and Tom Wishon dwell on, and talk to your fitter. Get a good fitting session. Anyone in the Swing Surgeon group can provide you with an excellent fitting session. They have all the latest equipment and all the knowledge that you need. And I think in the end you will come out better. So think specifications, performance. Those are the items that should dictate your thought process and your decision process the next time that you go to pick up a new driver. Okay? If you have any questions, of course, you can always shoot me an email or give me a phone call. I'll be very happy to answer anything about this topic or anything else. And until then, enjoy your golf, have a good day, and we'll see you down the road. Bye now.